week's episode of Attempted Optimism Podcast, where we're just trying our best. I'm Justin.
He's Justin.
And now you go.
Oh, I'm Ben. Welcome to the pod.
There's no way that was loud enough.
That's the intro right there.
Whoop, there it is.
Welcome in, everybody, to this week's episode of the Attempted Optimism Podcast, where we are just trying our very best. He's Justin.
Oh, and he's Ben.
Nice.
I didn't know you were redoing the intro.
We did a double intro for the fun of it. It's significantly later than we would normally be doing a podcast, which could really affect what you listen or watch, just to be quite apparent.
This one may be a burner.
Yeah.
It may be a throwaway for you.
I had a baby, so my schedule's pushed back. So I just transferred the baby to the other parent, so now we can do a podcast. So what we're going to do, Justin's going off the cuff here, is we're going to name, if we could go anywhere right now, no money restrictions, no travel restrictions, anywhere in the world, we're going to do our top 5. I'm going to start us off with number 5 from the Forbes list, okay? And number 5 for them is Sydney. So it says Sydney is known around the world as one of the greatest and most iconic cities on the planet. Amazing things to do aren't hard to find. The city has gorgeous beaches, great cafes, and world-class entertainment on offer wherever you look. Number 5 for me personally is Venice, Italy. And so I've been to Italy. I went to Rome, which is unbelievable. Love to go back there again.
Couldn't figure out how to get in the Vatican.
True story. If you've watched our other podcast, then you'll know that was accurate. But yeah, I would love to go to Venice. It's always one of those places that, they use it in a lot of movies, of course. They use it in a lot of great pictures and, backgrounds and stuff. But it just looks really fascinating, and there's not really quite anywhere else in the world like it. So I'd like to just kind of experience the magic of Venice. I don't know what I would do there. I don't generally know what you do there when you go. But yeah, that's my number 5 coming in is Venice, Italy. And that's number 5 for me. What you got right off the top of your brain, off the dome?
It's going to be somewhere in the mountains.
Okay.
Maybe like Pikes Peak, Colorado.
Okay. So you're staying like local. You're staying like United States local.
Sure. For now. Well, there's a lot of places in the United States I really want to visit, especially something like a Pikes Peak, Colorado, snowy, high altitude.
You've never been to Colorado? Have you been to Colorado?
Vistas. No.
Oh, Colorado's unbelievable. All right. Yeah. You ready for number 4 on the Forbes list here?
Let's hit
it. And I don't think I'm going to say this right, but it says Marrakesh, Morocco.
You were pretty close.
And it says this ancient walled city is home to mosques, palaces, and lush gardens. It's known as the Red City. Thanks to the color of the brick walls surrounding the city, the Medina is a UNESCO World Heritage Center. I don't know what that means, but it's all in capitals. UNESCO. All right, so number 4 for me is nothing like that, but it is very unique, and I don't know that a lot of people think of this as like a vacation spot, but for me, number 4 is Sofia, Bulgaria. But no, so we started looking at Sofia, Bulgaria, and it's like this incredibly beautiful city. It's got a lot of it in some senses, it almost looks a little bit like, Russia and, other Eastern countries like that. But it was incredible. And then there was tons of hills and mountains you could hike and different tourist attractions around the city. And I was just like, I would go there. I would love to go there. The Airbnbs were unbelievably beautiful. And so, yeah, that's number 4 for me. Coming in at number 4, Sofia, Bulgaria. Look it up. It's incredible. We'll go on a trip there together.
So I'm going to take you on a trip to...
You're going to take me on a trip?
I believe it's,
Ooh.
Theoretically, hypothetically speaking.
Oh, not really?
Yeah. There's a place in Thailand.
Okay.
And it's not Singapore. What is the Bangkok, Thailand. You're Googling it? Thank you.
Bangkok, Thailand is the place.
Bangkok,
Yep.
Thailand. They go to Bangkok.
That's beautiful.
And there are places where you can go near the coast, and it's like this massive lake resort.
Yeah.
And instead of like being able to sleep there, you go there to fish.
That's cool.
And they have these little fishing huts that are on docks all over the lake.
Yeah.
And you rent out a little like fishing hut or lodge or whatever. And basically you can just spend all day out there. There's a guide that'll come out and he'll bait your hooks for you. He'll
nice.
He'll when you catch something, he'll help you bring it in and everything. And I don't know why. Like I like the idea of fishing probably better than I like actually fishing.
I'm not a fisher at all.
Yeah. But to be able to hold one of those things, like these massive, like, it's not a goldfish that you put in like an aquarium. It's these massive fish.
Are they like koi fish?
Just being able
like
to
big giant koi fish or something?
Probably.
I don't know.
That sounds right.
I'm just guessing.
And then they went to Temple of the Dawn.
I just saw that in one of the pictures.
Yeah,
incredible.
It's really neat. There are places in the old world that I would call the old world. Just more ancient places than I could even fathom here in the West.
All right, number 3. Number 3 on the Forbes top 5 list here is Kerry, Ireland. And it says all the way west in Ireland is one of the country's most scenic counties. Kerry's mountains, lakes, and coasts are postcard perfect. And that's before you add in Killarney National Park. The unique small towns such as Dingle add to its charm. That's what the quote says. I'm not making this up.
Right.
Yes, unique small towns such as Dingle. All right, so number 3 for me is Reykjavik, Iceland, but really Iceland in general. I don't feel like you should limit. I mean, if you're going to go to Iceland, you might as well see the whole island because Reykjavik's not got that much to see. But I've been fascinated with Iceland for a long time. My wife loves Iceland, and she's done a ton of research and really wants to go on a trip there someday. But Iceland's just beautiful. It's something I've wanted to go and see for a long time. Something like about the Nordic. It's not really Nordic culture in that area. Is it Nordic? Yeah. I thought I said the wrong one for a second, but just beautiful. And then of course it's also in a lot of movies, and you see kind of some of the scenery and man.
Yeah. I would ante that with Svalbard.
Excuse me?
Svalbard.
Is that in Norway or is that in Iceland?
I believe it's an island between Norway and Iceland, and it's one of the farthest north.
Spell it for me.
Excuse me? Spell it for you? Spell Svalbard.
I got it. Don't worry.
Svalbard.
You actually killed it right there.
Nailed it.
And it is.
There's probably some weird accent or something.
It does. I was correct. It does technically belong to Norway. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. It's between. Wait, I zoomed in way too far. Way too. Oh, it's like in the middle of the ocean, Justin.
No, dude, it's out there.
You can't be just going to Svalbard. Yeah,
it's like one of those. It's like they have to treat the cities kind of like the Antarctic, where
I'm gonna try to.
It's a thing.
I'm gonna try to attach some pictures into this video because Svalbard looks literally. If you've seen 30 Days of Night, the movie, it looks like where it was filmed.
Right.
I would never go there.
Also, there's this creepy show called Fortitude that probably nobody's ever seen. I think it's an Amazon original, but it's it's got that vibe.
See, now I'm creeped out, and I would never want to be anywhere near that place.
It's got like The Thing kind of vibe.
Oh, okay, yeah. It really does. So is that in your list, or were you just kind of throwing out a random Nordic fact that you had on your top?
No, that's not a part of my list.
All right, number 3 on your list, because I think I shared mine, right? Yeah. This is how we got onto this whole thing.
Did we do number 3 on Forbes?
Yeah, that was Kerry, Ireland. Then I told you Reykjavik. Now it's your turn.
My go.
Yeah. If you even have
real
a third.
Organized tonight. So I pulled it up, and this one's another kind of spooky vibe place.
Yeah.
You would have to go here with me.
Okay. I'm ready to Google it.
It is called Huska Castle. Houska Castle.
Got it. Yep.
In the Czech Republic.
Oh, I'd love to go to
And
the Czech
I'm just going to
Republic.
read a portion of it.
Please do.
This fort's Gothic architecture and stone walls present a majestic yet disturbing sight. It's located in the middle of nowhere. The first impression you get from looking at the castle is that the structure is a structure built to protect those on the outside from that which is within the walls of the castle. Even stray animals tend to stay away from this site. Perhaps it is because Huska Castle, which was built in the early 13th century, was not designed for residence. In fact, it is said that the stone edifice was built around a crater. Folklore suggests that the hole in the ground was a gateway to hell, and demons and strange winged creatures would pour out of it. In fact, there are frequent reports of such beings circling the sky to this day. The castle was eventually taken over by the Nazis, who used for grotesque activities such as the torture of hundreds of people and genetic testing. Paranormal activity exists often with paranormal activity enthusiasts often visit the site. Some people tend to keep their visits brief. It is said that no one can spend longer than a certain period of time in the castle, especially because most visitors report a feeling of being constantly watched.
So it's only 29 miles north of Prague, so we could literally go enjoy Prague and then go die inside of a castle right after that.
I mean, what else would you want on a vacation?
Book it on the 2021 itinerary.
Hang on, I got it.
See it, who's the castle? Now. I mean, 2020, I mean, if there's ever a year to go, it's now. Maybe it will reverse the trend of 2020.
Maybe the answer to COVID is within the hole.
Maybe the answer to the end of the world is within the Huska Castle.
Probably.
About it. Okay, number 2 on the Forbes list. This is where, when I read the Forbes list, I thought to myself, somebody paid them money to write this list. Okay? Because when you read number 2, there's no shot. This is number 2, and this is the top 50 places in the world to travel to in 2019. Number 2, New Orleans. And here's the quote. The lively city known for its street music, festive vibe, and a melting pot of French, African, and American cultures is well worth the trip. NOLA is a city packed with adventures at every turn and should be on everyone's must-visit list.
I would love to know who calls it NOLA.
Forbes does. I told you somebody paid them for this. There's no shot that number 2 in the entire world is New Orleans. So number 2 on my list actually is in Ireland, but it's Belfast, Ireland. And really what sold me isn't much of a selling point, I feel like, for a lot of people, but what sold me is just the fact that there was so much green hills. And it just looked like so peaceful to me, and something like where you could just like get in a car and drive around Ireland, and that would be just as much fun as anything else in the journey. It's just getting to see the beautiful landscape and see an old country like that. But Belfast, of course, in and of itself has a ton to offer, and right by the sea, and it's a massive city, so there's plenty to do. But I just I would love to go visit Ireland. All right, number 2 on your list.
Can you imagine, after watching that video of Huska Castle, to try to go to bed?
Stop. Quit talking about the castle. Because
what are we talking about? My number 2?
Number 2 on your travel list, if you could go anywhere in the world.
I kind of torn at this point.
You only get 2 choices.
I kind of want to go back to Scotland.
Oh, I've never been to Scotland.
Yeah, and what I would like to do, I love seeing the castles, I love looking at the history, I love all of that kind of stuff, and the little shops, and especially the pubs, and
the food.
Brother,
give me some food from England,
haggis,
Scotland,
neeps, and tatties.
Excuse me, we don't say
haggis,
that. We'll cut that out. We can't say that.
Neeps is carrots, mashed carrots, and then so you take that with the haggis, and then tatties is potatoes, mashed potatoes.
Smart.
Yeah.
I don't know why we can't just say
phenomenal
meat, carrot, and potatoes, but
because they're Scottish. My wife would like to interject, but so we only spent one day up there, but what I would really rather do is get out of the city and go see the Highlands. That's what I want to see. Sheer rock face mountains that go jutting up into the sky, and these leafy green with the weather that's up. Just I want to go.
Okay. All right. Number 1 on the Forbes list. Again, what's funny to me is like Sydney was the only one in the top 5 where I could see it being in the top 5. And all the other ones are kind of like they just chose randomly. But number 1 for them
these are also places inside the world.
Yeah, exactly. Number 1 for them is Bali, Indonesia. And it says you'll find beaches, volcanoes, Komodo dragons, and jungles sheltering elephants, orangutans, and tigers. Basically, it's paradise, which I don't think that described paradise to me, but I guess it could to somebody. So number 1 on my list has been number 1 on my list for a very long time, and I would love to go. No, no.
Wrap it up.
I would love to go to Tokyo. It's been on my list forever. Ever since I was like a kid in middle school, and I remember this story came out about how Tokyo opened the first indoor skiing resort, and I was like, I need to go to Japan. Like that convinced me as a kid. And then as I did more research, I'm like, oh, so an indoor skiing resort isn't even the coolest thing Japan has. It's just on the list somewhere of things that they have. And part of the reason for me, of course, wanting to go to Japan is I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and Pokemon is like, Tokyo is the origin of Pokemon, as well as almost every other good anime in the world. I'd love to go see like the Pikachu Fest or whatever they call it, where it's just like the whole city is taken over by people in Pikachu costumes, and they do a whole Pokemon parade. And it's like, I'm a huge kid at heart, so I'd love to do that. I'd love to go to a cat cafe. I'd love to, you don't want to go to a cat cafe?
I don't know what a cat cafe is.
You go and get your coffee or your tea and maybe a little biscuit, crumpet, I don't know, and you sit down, you have your little snacks, and there's just cats wandering around. They'll come and hop up on your table and chill with you. They jump on your back.
No, thank you.
Dude, I love that.
Stay away from my food and drink.
So that's number 1 for me. Love to go to Tokyo, Japan. What you got for us?
I would, you kind of mentioned a road trip. I think I would do a road trip as well. But mine would start in Stockholm.
Yes.
And
let's go.
Would visit various saunas.
Yes.
And art museums. And then I would want to go down to, take a country road.
Take me home.
Down to Malmo.
To the place.
And
I belong.
Where I belong. Malmo, Sweden. No. Viking mama.
No.
I couldn't finish it out. I had nothing.
Malmo.
Anyway, going down to Malmo and then crossing the bridge over into Copenhagen, Denmark.
Yup.
And then there's a couple of places I would want to visit in Denmark. And then, of course, we're driving straight up into Germany because I want to see the Black Forest.
Black Forest. Let's go.
Black Forest. Where are we going?
What was the name of that city in Dark? Do you remember the name of the city they lived in?
Winden.
Winden.
But in real life, it's like...
It was close, wasn't it?
It's like... Oh, no, it's Winden, but there's like more added on to it.
Yeah. And the reason we're talking about this, for anybody who doesn't know, is that Justin and I got obsessed with the Netflix TV show Dark, and
I don't know that obsessed.
No, we were obsessed, addicted.
What's the level above that?
I don't know,
because I feel like I was there,
entranced, maybe. Because we were texting each other about how we would be able to move to this town and how we might be able to make that work.
I picked out a house.
Did you? Was it nice?
Yes. It was pretty nice.
Send it to me. We can start making the plans again.
Right. It's just so beautiful, that area out there. And so I would like to do a little trip from what did I say?
Amsterdam. No.
Sweden. Going from Stockholm.
All
the way to,
Stockholm.
Probably Winden. Why not Winden?
Why not? But thank you for listening to our top 5 places to travel. If you have, it's a weird word, but I'm going to use it anywhere. If you have wanderlust, like a lot of people do in 2020, put down in the comments where you'd like to travel to if you could. Top 5 if you want, or just top place you could travel to. No money attached to it. And let us know what you think about our top fives, and what specifically what you think of the Forbes top five, and why New Orleans shouldn't be in there, because it shouldn't.
Yeah,
There's no shot that should be in the top five. So
thank you, New Orleans, but
it's
kinda.
like number two.
Yeah, no.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening.
Bye.